Hello, everyone, and welcome to our reading today. We are unboxing the Oracle of the Phoenix. So I just got this in the mail. I ordered it from the thrift bookstore online. So they always have nice prices, and they send it very well wrapped. As you can see, this is brand new. It was never even opened, so it was really nice to order it. The regular price for this deck is $19. You can see that. And in Canada, it's like 24. Um, I only paid 14 from the bookstore. I got it for $14. So I was pulled to buy it. And if you follow my videos, you know that when I am pulled to a deck, it's usually for a purpose, whether it is just for one particular person's reading or if it's for the collective. But I wanted to show you the deck when I opened it. So it says, Feel the fire of transformation. Change begins within you. Okay, so let's take a look at the guidebook. So looking at our guidebook, it doesn't have pictures, but it does give you the words that you need to, like if you're beginning to do your own readings or if you want to use the guidebook to kind of see if your readings are correct. I always tell people to use your own judgment first. Like, look at the cards, decide what you think, what you feel, how you feel about the card, what the message is to you, and then use the guidebook second, just for additional information or to see like another point of view. But guidebooks are really nice to use. Some people say if you're using a guidebook, you don't know how to read cards, and that's not true. Guidebooks are there for a purpose. The person that created the deck is the person that knows the energy of what the card's true meaning is. So guidebooks are great to use. Don't ever feel intimidated by someone's you know, if they want to use a guidebook or, because some of these you can find new ways of doing certain readings and things. So yeah, like, don't ever let somebody make you feel like you shouldn't use the guidebook. Some of my decks, I love to use the guidebook. Some of my decks, I don't. It all depends on how I resonate with the cards and how I'm being pulled. So these are really pretty cards. Um, the artwork is very pretty. Be who you are. I'm not gonna like do each card because I've noticed like some videos, people do each card, and that's okay if you're looking to look at that deck. But for some people, um, I'm not going to do each card. I just want to give you an idea of what the deck looks like. So, but as you can see, the cards are kind of sticking together. You can hear that they are definitely new. Um, what I recommend doing when this happens, this is just what I do. Uh, these crystals that I have, um, they are from Etsy. They are from Crystal Ethics on Etsy. It's a couple that she is in a wheelchair and he is like he is her boyfriend, and he also helps support her in her daily life, and they just love adventure. They live out of their van. They do mining. They like to do mining. So if you're into crystals, I highly recommend checking them out. They're very, very nice people, and everything that they give you is going to be legit. It's going to be real. It's not going to be fake. And that's a big thing nowadays. It's like I've heard of people ordering crystals, and then whenever they get them, um, they were they're just rocks with like paint on them and stuff. So like be very careful. But yeah, this couple here, everything that they do, and they get, it is actually true mining. So that's who I use for my crystal collection. Uh, Recently. So, okay, so here's what I do. I like to I like to use sage or santo oil, wood, And I like to do this over top the cards. It will often help to unstick the cards if they're sticking together, and it keeps them from sticking together again. So I just cleanse the cards because everything has energy, right? Everything holds energy. Everything holds some kind of uh, force, like I don't know how to explain it, but my words, my words are kind of gone today. That's a pretty card. But yeah, this is a great way to get your cards to where they don't stick together, right? It just kind of takes that clinginess, and the smoke kind of clears the card as well, so you don't have that like fresh print kind of um, feeling to the card. So I wasn't going to do each card, but since they're sticking together, I kind of feel like I need to because they're sticking together. So sometimes that does happen. You have to be really, really careful that you don't damage the card when you're pulling them apart. Sometimes if they're really sticking together, it is so easy to damage the card, and that's what you don't want to do. So that's pretty. If you like colors, like rainbow colors and vibrant colors, this is a really good deck when it comes to like chakra colors and therapy and stuff. This would be a really nice deck to purchase. So I'm just going to, as you can see, there's a lot of rainbow colors in the cards. I'm having a really hard time keeping this wood going. And what I like to do is after I cleanse my cards, I like to sync them with my energy. So I always hold them to my heart space. That helps to like really sync them to the energies. If you want to look at a particular card a little bit closer, just feel free to pause the video to look at the card closer. But I'm just kind of doing a fast walkthrough because this is a large style deck, so it's not like just 20 cards. So I want to make sure that I don't take up too much time. If you hear a noise, that's my pug. She doesn't like to be left alone. She will sit outside the door and just kind of be really upset with me for leaving her out. So she does kind of snort. So if you hear a weird noise, that's just her making a snorting sound. So let's keep going. I like this one. That's pretty. That's it holds a lot of yeah, that's a strength card. Yeah, I was gonna say it holds a lot of energy. Take the next step. I really like these cards. Let me know in the comments if you have this deck, how you use this deck. Um, if you don't have this deck, let me know in the comments what you think about the deck. Like if you like the colors, if you think the artist was uh, good at drawing the pictures. I love the multicolored ones where there's like pinks and blues and yellows. I like those. I think those are really pretty. Wild and happy. That's pretty. I like how they change the color of the phoenix because in most pictures, like the phoenix is often just fire color. So it's nice to see like different colors as well. So, and these are our last two that stuck. It has been rainy like crazy here. I don't know about you guys where you're from. Let me know where you're from. I'm in the United States. I'm towards the New York area, and it has just been so rainy here. Like it's spring, of course, so I guess that's a little bit normal for spring, but we haven't really had any spring days. Like it doesn't feel like we've had maybe 3 days of spring and the rest of it just feels like it's some kind of a stormy like interference all the time. So this is what the back of the box looks like. Um, if you are cleansing your deck, I highly recommend doing the box too, just because if you're getting it shipped to you, you don't know who's touched it. You don't know what kind of energy it's been around. And even if you're getting it from a store, you still like you don't know who's touched it, who's been in the store. You don't know, the energy with around it. And so it's always good just to really cleanse your deck, cleanse the energy of the deck. Okay, so let's take a look. We are going to sync our cards. So what I usually say is, Dear Divine, thank you for these cards. Thank you, Spirit, for bringing these cards into our reading today. May these cards be blessed for the highest good of those who are attending the reading. Please protect these cards and their message so that they are able to reach whoever needs to have the message received to them. And bless these cards for our highest good. Thank you so much to the artist, to the creator, and to their ability to create these cards for us. May our reading be protected and may the cards help express all of the purpose for each card and meaning that they hold. Thank you. Okay, so we are just going to do a reading for the collective. So let's just see. Now, see, notice how easy they shuffle now? Like they're really easy at shuffling now. So that's one of the reasons why I do it. And again, you can use sage, you can use santo wood, you can use whatever, whatever you're pulled to use. Some people like to burn sweetgrass, but you can definitely see how easy the cards are shuffling when they were just a minute ago so stuck together, right? So let's take a look. What is it that we need to know? What is it that you need to know? What is it that the collective needs to know? What is our message for today, Divine? Thank you so much for this message that we are receiving. Our first card is Thoughts Become Matter. Thoughts become matter. Friendship. Give and forgive. Give your all. And I feel like this one wants to come out. Be who you are. Okay, collective. Let's look at a closing card. Dark thoughts. Okay, so let's take a look. This is our closing card. So I'm going to put that there. And looking at our reading, we have thoughts become matter. So notice that this phoenix is white, this one is black, right? So, and then we have friendship, give and forgive, and give your all, and be who you are. Okay, so what we are looking at here, okay, so looking at what the cards mean. So thoughts become matter, and then you have dark thoughts. So the overall theme and the closing thing is definitely going to be pay attention to your thoughts. Okay, because we begin with thoughts become matter and we end with dark thoughts. So the whole purpose of this reading is going to be paying attention to your thoughts. So sometimes we're so busy throughout the day, we might be, our mind might be going 100 miles an hour. And we might be thinking of this and thinking of that and doing this and doing that. But are we really paying attention to what we're thinking, right? Are we really listening to what we're saying to ourselves, right? So we often ask people, are you listening to me? Are you listening to me? Did you hear what I just said? But we never internally do that with ourselves. And that's what this reading is basically saying is that thoughts become matter. So if you're thinking bad thoughts, then those would be what we call your dark thoughts, right? And that's going to produce those stressors in your life or those belief systems in your life, right? You might think something and it's not actually what it truly is, right? Or you might be manifesting something that is the opposite of what you really want, but you're frustrated or not thinking clearly or um, coming from a place that's not connected to your heart space, right? So that's where we get thoughts become matter, and that's where the dark thoughts become matter, right? So this says friendship. One of the things about friendship with this card, especially, is notice how there's protection, right? There's the phoenix is protecting even the angelic angel, right? And the phoenix is behind the angel. Okay, so like this card is stating that one of the main things you want to do is become best friends with yourself. Okay, if you don't know who you are, if you're not friends with yourself, then how are you going to know who's friends with you? You have to know yourself first. You have to know what you need, who you are, and how to love yourself first, because then that helps you to understand if you are giving your time to the right energy, to the right people, right? Or if you're allowing yourself in the right situations. If you are not friends with yourself and you don't love yourself and you're talking down about yourself, right? There's your dark thoughts, right? If I'm not pretty enough or I'm not smart enough or I'm not rich enough or I'm not skinny enough, I'm not um big enough, I'm not tall enough. Like if you're being negative about yourself, those negative thoughts are what you're telling the universe, which in return is what's going to come back to you, right? So you're manifesting the fears, the dark thoughts are being manifested because you don't have that friendship within yourself. But as you build the friendship within yourself, you're going to realize that the people in your energy are either going to uplift you and make you happy, or they are going to pull you down. And that friendship within yourself is going to help you to know who is for you and who is against you, who supports you and who envies you, who loves you and who's using you. Okay, those are only established outside of you when you identify with your own true self within you. Okay, when you love yourself, you can see who doesn't love you. When you respect yourself, you can see who's not respecting you. You can feel it. Even if they come up with the best intentions, you can feel that something is wrong, something's not right, right? And that whole like do unto others as you want done unto you, that also depends on how you treat yourself. So if you're treating yourself poorly, badly, if you don't care about yourself, you're not taking care of yourself, you're not loving yourself, you're not doing things for yourself, then you could very easily draw that kind of energy back to you from others, even though you might not treat them that way. That's the way you're treating yourself. So therefore, that's the treatment that you're going to get from people, and you're going to be like, why are people treating me this way? Why am I being treated in such a nasty way whenever I'm such a nice person to them and I don't treat them that way? Yes, but if you are thinking and talking to yourself in that way, then that is part of the energy that you are going to pull into your life, right? So you got to have a healthy friendship with yourself. You got to love yourself so that you're aware of your thoughts. So that when you start to have bad thoughts like, I'm not good enough, you can say to yourself, no, I am good enough. This job isn't good enough. I need to find another job. It's not that it's you, it could be the situation that you're in, right? Um, Give and forgive is all about balance, right? So if you're giving, you want to give without, never give with expectations. First off, that's the worst energy ever because when you give with expectations, then you are telling you're telling the universe that this is what you want back, or you're telling others that this is what you expect back. And if somebody can't match that energy, then you feel like you were left down, or you feel um, like somebody owes you something, right? And therefore you have this victim energy coming in. So learn to give and forgive. Okay, so give freely, no expectations, just give. If you're going to do something, do it to do it because you want to do it, right? If you want to cut the neighbor's grass, cut the neighbor's grass. Don't expect them to pay you for it, or um, tell you thank you, or cut your grass the next week. Do it because you want to do it. Do it because you just want to be nice, right? If you give the charity, I always tell people, like, a lot of people give the charity, right? And they'll be like, oh, let me put your name on a wall and on the sticker. And, yeah, that's great. I usually let my kids put their name on the paper, but you're giving just to give. You're not giving to have your name put on the wall so that everybody that walks out can see that you're part of the givers, right? You're just giving just to give because that's your energy. That's what you're doing to the universe. You're giving to the universe. You're giving when you give to somebody else, when you give freely without expectations, you are telling the universe, here, this is a gift. This is a gift to you. Yes, it's going to a particular person, thing, whatever, but it's still you giving your energy freely to the universe, which in return, the universe sees that you are a giving, kind person with no expectations. So therefore the universe in return will give back to you. Okay? And it's like a free back and forth exchange. You might not get something back from the person that you gave it to, but down the road you might get it back from somebody completely different, right? Um Say for example, I don't know, say like you pay it forward 3 or 4 times, and the people that you're paying it forward to, they don't even know who you are because they might be behind you, or they might be in a you might not have told anybody that you were doing it. Like, they might not know who you are because you just decided to give for the purpose of it, right? Without telling anybody who you are. So say you give and nobody knows that you gave, except for the people that you interacted with it with the money or whatever. But then, like, out of the blue, you're doing something and somebody that you don't know does it back for you, right? No idea, no connection to the people, but they just decided that they wanted to do it for you. That's the universe working in the other people to support you, to support your journey as well. And it's not expected. You should never expect it, right? If it happens, give gratitude and thanks to the universe. Understand that, hey, this is just energy coming back to me. This is just love coming back to me. Right? Thank you, universe. Thank you for this moment. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this interaction. Right? Oftentimes, the universe will do it when you least expect it because they don't want you to have expectations. Right? The whole part of the learning process here is just not having expectations on others and not having expectations on ourselves either. Like, you don't want to be like, okay, this week I'm going to give 5 times. Okay, don't put expectations on yourself. Just this week I'm going to try to do something nice for somebody, right? Or something. Like, don't put expectations on yourself because then if you are unable to do it or something goes wrong, then you're going to feel like you weren't good enough or you didn't succeed, right? So try to do things without expectations. And the forgive part is has a lot to do with forgiving yourself, right? I feel like this goes way back for some of you, like way back. Like I'm talking like elementary, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 years old, right? I feel like you need to start there and you need to work on this forgiveness. Whatever the situation was, whoever the situation was with, however it felt, you're not there anymore. And as long as you're carrying that energy from that lifetime, you're suppressing your heart and you're suppressing your energy in this moment. So give it to the universe, ask the creator, ask the great spirits, your ancestors, go within your heart, place your hand over your heart and just ask the universe to help you to cleanse and release the things that no longer serve your highest good. Send love to yourself as a child. Know that you couldn't have done things differently then because you did what you did in the moment. And just send love and just know that the situation, it is gone. It is over with. It is done. And it's just, there's no point in holding that energy when you could be using that energy so much more in other areas, right? So pull back your energy, pull back your love, free anything that needs to be forgiven. And remember, forgiveness doesn't mean tolerance. Okay? So never feel like, "Oh, well, if I forgive this person, then I'm making excuses for what this person did." No. Forgiveness is freeing your heart space, freeing your body. What we need to understand is we often carry energy in our body and in our surrounding aura, right? So if you're walking around with hate from the past, then you're going to be putting that energy off in your aura. People's going to pick it up around you. People's going to feel it. Those that have like hate in their energy is going to throw their energy at you because they feel yours and you're going to have chaos. All right. So forgiveness is for you and it's for your healing and it's for you being able to, like, if you have a handful of stones and you see these beautiful stones but you have no room to carry them, then you have to put down some of the ones that are just not appealing to you so that you can pick up the ones that you truly want to carry, right? So you might not be able to put all of your stones down because maybe there's some things that you carry even though you don't want to, right? And I know for some people some things are just there. You might, look at a situation or look at yourself in a mirror or something, and maybe some things are physical and they're always going to be there. Okay. But you got to love those physical, see past the, see past the, the block and just send love, send love. Every time you see, I don't know, for example, say you look in the mirror and you see a scar, right? And that scar instantly reminds you, just send love to the scar, send love to your heart. Tell yourself you're not there anymore. That's not the situation that you're in right now. And just send love to that moment, to that instant thought that you're having, okay? But forgiveness helps to redirect your energy. It helps you to align with what you truly, truly want for yourself and where you want to go. And when you are able to put your thoughts in the right place, build a friendship with yourself and heal, and then forgive and start to give from the heart without worrying of being hurt or worrying of being used or worrying of being manipulated. When you just give just to give, you're cutting the ties to the people that do want to manipulate you or do want to control you. They can't. They can if you're giving without expectations. If you're giving without expectations, then they can't put anything on you because there's nothing there to hold on to, right? So that's what that is. And then when you forgive, you're allowing yourself to heal and you're allowing yourself to see the situation differently. And then instead of feeling like a victim, you start to understand that this person has unsolved issues. This person has issues. These people have issues. And then you know who is for you, who needs to be released from you, who to love and send love to, but not necessarily have them in your energy. And one of the things you want to do most is give your all. Show up for you, right? If it doesn't matter what you're doing, if you don't give 100% of yourself to yourself, then eventually the things that you're trying to do are going to crumble and you're going to have those tower moments, right? So you want to give your all to yourself. And no, it's not being selfish, but if you went to order a burger at a restaurant and they only gave you a burger that was half cooked and in a bun and they didn't even bother putting the top bun on, they're not giving their all, right? So it does matter, right? You want people to show up and give their all. And a lot of people don't, and that's on them. But this card is telling you give your all. Don't compare yourself to others. Don't worry about what this person's doing or that person's doing. Don't worry about what other people think of you. As long as you're showing up for yourself, as long as you're building that friendship with yourself and you're giving yourself all that you can give and you're working on your healing and you're giving and going back out there being the true you, when you give your all and somebody says that they expect more or blah blah blah, it's not going to bother you at all. You're not even going to care because you know that you showed up for yourself. You know that you gave everything that you could give. And if somebody doesn't like it, then that's on them. They can go find someone else, somebody else, right? You showed up for you. You did what you needed to do. You did your best and you're proud of who you are. And if somebody doesn't think that you're good enough, that's their choice, that's their opinion, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion, right? But you learn to not give your power away. When you give your all and you are proud of who you are and what you've done, then you're not giving your power away. You're not expecting somebody to say, "Oh, good job. Oh, way to go. Oh, you did such a." You don't care. You don't care because you don't need that because you validated it already within yourself. Right? So therefore you're calling your power back and not allowing the outside world to control your thoughts of I'm not good enough, you know. I didn't give enough. I didn't show up enough. I didn't, instead of allowing those thoughts to come in here, if you show up for yourself and you give the best that you can give, then you know that it doesn't matter, right? And sometimes you have to remember that sometimes people don't know what's going on in your life. They might judge you based off of what they see, but not understand that there could be something else going on behind the curtains, right? And so their expectations for you might be high, but you're just meeting your own expectations because you're lucky that you're even putting your shoes on and going to work, or you're putting your you're able to pay $60 on a bill instead of $30 on a bill, right? And you're just lucky for what you're able to do at this particular moment, right? And so they might not see that you're having financial struggles or you're having marital struggles or there's sickness or a job change or somebody passing away. Like they might not know what you have, be going on. So for you, you're showing up the best that you can. But for that person, they might feel like, wow, that person don't know what they're doing because they're only seeing what's on the surface, right? Be who you are, not a mask, right? Not what other people expect you to be, right? So being who you are is, again, showing up for yourself each day, giving your best. And there might be some days where you show up and you're like, I didn't try my best today. And that's okay. What you got to do is tell yourself, why? Why didn't I try my best today? I just got too much going on. It was a hard day. I've got a lot I'm trying to deal with. It's okay. I'll try tomorrow. I'll try again tomorrow. I'll remind myself to put my best forward tomorrow, right? You're not expected to be 100% every single day. And if you are, then you're living at a very high standard for yourself. Just be the best that you can be without that percentage attached to it, is what this card is saying. Because when you attach that percentage, you're competing again with yourself. Oh, I did better yesterday than I did today. Again, you're putting those dark thoughts into your mindset, which is going to pull your energy down, which is going to cause the universe to say, okay, well, they need more lessons on how to love themselves, so let's do this, let's do that. So what you want to say is, I'm going to show up for the best that I can today. And if you show up and there's things that you did that you wouldn't have done, then those are goals that you can look at. Instead of looking at dark thoughts and making them into dark thoughts, instead transform them into goals, right? So, something that you want to do better, tomorrow, work on that. Work on trying to make that better, right? Work on thinking before you speak. Maybe work on um not judging yourself. Work on finding six things throughout the day that make you smile, right? That's an easy goal, right? Just bringing in more happiness, right? Focus on more happiness. A lot of times we focus on what we need to do, but we don't focus on what we truly need to be able to do those things correctly. Right? So that's what this card is basically saying to you is when you give your all, make sure that you love yourself in the process of giving your all, okay? Because you're going to have days where your all is going to be awesome and you're going to have days where your all is going to be minimal. And both of those need to be loved equally the same. Okay, that is how we move forward, and that is how we transform things, and that is how we keep our thoughts aligned so that we can keep going in the direction that we truly want to arrive in. All right, so be who you are is all about truly stepping into your authentic energy. Don't change who you are based off of who enters the room. Don't change who you are based off of who's on the other end of the phone, right? Don't allow other people to tell you who you are when you know who you are, because some people, they want you to be who they want you to be so that they can manipulate you, so that they can walk all over you, so they can make you look like a fool in front of other people. So always remind yourself that you need to be who you are authentically. And if somebody has a problem with that, then that's a you problem, right? That's whenever you tell them, if you don't like me, that's a you problem, not a me problem, right? And if that person doesn't like you, there's a billion people in this world or more. They can go find somebody else, right? They can go spend their energy and time with someone else. Don't let somebody try to transform you into something that you're not, to fit their expectations, okay? Because a lot of people in this world are not for you. They're against you. And I'm not saying, like, when it says like be who you are, I mean be who you're truly meant to be. Right? So like you will know when you step into this friendship with yourself, you're going to know who you are. right? So this card is telling you, like, if you're a funny person and you love to joke around and things like that, but you have a job that's very serious, yes, be the serious person, right? That's different. That is a role that you play at work or something like that. But what this card is saying, don't allow other people to change your personality, right? To change your heart space. Okay, that's what this card is saying. Be who you are when a situation feels uncomfortable and you feel the need to speak about it, right? That is being who you are, right? If people are going out drinking and driving and you don't want to participate, don't let somebody be like, "Oh, come on, what's the matter with you? You don't want to have any fun." No, you be who you are. You stand up and say, "I'm sorry, but this is a really bad idea, and I'm not participating in this. I love you guys. I think it's fun to go out and everything, but I'm not drinking and driving, and I have no way of getting home with unless I drive. So I'm not doing this." Right? Be strong enough in your energy to speak your thoughts. Right? If somebody's doing something and you know it's wrong, and they expect you just to sit back and allow them to do whatever, and you know it's not right, be assertive in that area. Speak up, right? Be who you are. Don't allow somebody else to suppress your beliefs or your likes or your thoughts, because that all comes back to being honest with yourself. If you are not who you are and you don't speak the thoughts that you need to speak, then when something happens, you're going to open the door to dark thoughts to come in. And that's what you don't want to come in. Because if those come in, those linger in your subconscious. And then those destroy everything that you've been working on. So you definitely want to make sure that you're walking in authenticity, right? And unfortunately, in this energy, you're going to lose some people. But the good thing is when you lose them, the universe sees that you no longer want to hold on to that kind of friendship, relationship, job, whatever it is. And it begins to bring people into your life that truly does represent who you want to be and does support you on your path and will encourage you to love yourself, right? So when you love yourself, you're going to find people that love themselves, and you're going to move away from the people that cause the chaos, that want the drama, that want to be able to get in your energy for what they can get out of it and things like that. So this is all about dynamics, but it all starts within you. And you have to be aware of your thoughts. You have to constantly check in with yourself. How am I feeling today? What am I thinking today? Why did I think that? Don't be afraid to ask yourself why. Why did I think that? Because I don't love myself enough. Oh, because somebody said that to me and now it's planted in my brain. I got to get that out of there. Right? Like, don't be afraid to ask yourself why, because that can help you to think you think of a better way of addressing your emotions and feelings through the why. Okay, so why is always good. Don't be afraid to ask why. Sometimes why can be very emotional. When you ask why am I saying this to myself? Why am I feeling this? It might take you back to your childhood. It might take you back to when you were younger. That's when that you might get an image, or you might get you might remember something that somebody said to you, and it's almost like a trigger, but at the same time it's a healer. So it might trigger you at first, but then you're going to be like, oh, that's why. And then you're going to send that energy, send that time and space, love and healing. Ask the universe, please help me to heal from this situation. This is what's causing it. Please help me to love, heal, and release. Love, heal, and release. And when you do that, the next time it happens, you're not going to have that trigger effect. You're going to be like, "Oh, there it is again. Okay, I really need to let this go, or I really need to transform this energy, or I need to love myself more. That wasn't my fault, or that wasn't, this, that." And you begin to listen to why you're doing the things, and then in that listening, you begin to transform. You begin to change who you are, and you begin to align better with your heart space and your happier energy within you of healing and loving yourself, right? So that is our energy reading for the collective today. I hope that this has helped you. Let me know in the comments what you think of this um, deck, and I will be using it on live readings pretty soon. All right, have a great day. Bye.